Welcome back, aliens. My name is Naveen Reddy, and in this video we'll try to work with Spring Framework using Kotlin language. In fact, we have seen Kotlin language 2 years back, and then we have made the entire series. On the other hand, we have one of the best framework available for Java, which is Spring. And then all these Spring videos which we have worked on is on Java, right? So now we know how to use Spring with Java. And on the other hand, we have a language, Kotlin, which is much better to work on because, so Java is a beautiful language. The only thing is it's very verbose. So even if you want to print hello world, you know how many lines of code you have to write. On the other hand, you can write short codes in Kotlin to do the same thing. And you will think that's fine, we can write multiple lines of code in Java and it works. And that works. The only thing is, the problem is the number of bugs is directly proportional to the number of lines you write. So if Kotlin says you can do the same thing in less lines, let's use that. And the amazing thing is, the Kotlin code get converted into bytecode which works on JVM. So our job is done, right? So we have beautiful language Kotlin and we have this amazing framework Spring, and now we want to use it together. And that's where most of the projects are going now. So if you want to work on a new Spring project, use Kotlin, it is beautiful. But the question arises, how can you use this? Of course, Kotlin is not something very new in the world. It's been a long time. And then Spring also supports Kotlin now. So now let's see, how do we use Kotlin in Spring Framework? Now, first of all, we have to download a Spring Boot project. Of course, you could have gone with normal Spring Framework, but let's use Spring Boot, which is much more efficient. So let's use Spring Boot. And then how will you do that? Of course, if you might have worked on STS before or Eclipse. In fact, the videos which we have on YouTube is based on STS. But in this video, we'll use Intellij. And when it comes to Intellij, we have two options there, right? We can go for ultimate version or we can go with the community version. We will be using community version here because I don't want to buy ultimate version just for this video. So you can use community version, but then you will not get the option of creating a Spring project in that. So what we will do is we'll download the Spring project, Spring Boot project from the official website, which is start.spring.io. And one more thing, before continuing, you have to make sure that you know Kotlin, because I will not be teaching you Kotlin, and then you know Spring Framework. I will not be teaching you Spring Framework. I assume that you know Java with Spring, and then you have seen some of my videos on Kotlin. So you will find the links of those videos in description area. So now let's get started. So you can see we have a project. So you can see when I go to this start.spring.io, we have the first option of setting a project. You can go with Maven or you can go for Gradle. I will go for Maven because I'm more comfortable with that. Then we have to choose a language. In fact, we have three choices here. You can go with Java, which is by default. This time I want to go with Kotlin, so let's select that. Then you have to also mention the Spring version you want to work with. 2.1.7 is a stable one as of now. Depending upon when you're watching this video, you'll be having new version. You can try that out. The next thing is I want to mention my group ID, which is com.telusko. And then the artifact ID, I will say this is Spring Kotlin demo. That's my project name. And then if I go for options, we can also specify the package name, which is we have here. In fact, what I'll do is I will say Spring. So let's make it small, Spring Kotlin demo, and then here as well we'll say Spring Kotlin demo. And now we can specify the packaging, which is jar, and then the Java version, Java compiler version. So I will say 8, and nothing much. Everything is specified. And let's go back here. So which dependency I want to add? So of course I wanted to go for normal Spring project, but let's also add this Spring Web Starter because we can try that as well. So I will select Spring Web Starter because maybe if I want to create a MVC application, and then click on Generate Project. In fact, I just want to do one more thing. Maybe we can also add a theme lift because let's say if you are designing a web page or web application, you also want a page there, right? So I will say theme lift. And then the last step, which is Generate the project. The moment you do that, you can see you got a zip file downloaded here. So that's our project. It's time to unzip it. I will say extract here. So we got our folder, which is Spring. So we got our folder, which is Spring Kotlin demo, right? Now we want to import this in Intellij. So now it's time to open this project in Intellij IDE. The only thing is you need to have Intellij IDE in your machine. If you don't have it, that's fine. You can simply go to this website, which is jetbrains.com, the makers of Intellij. And if you can just go there, and you can download this one. There are two options basically. One, you can go for the community version or ultimate version. The only thing is ultimate version is not free. So you can use a trial version for that. We will be using community version here. So I do have a setup, so you can download this and you can open this. It doesn't matter which OS you use. Now we all know how to use this in different OS, right? You can see it will give you option. I'm using Ubuntu. That's why it is giving me the Linux version of it, but you can also go it for Windows. Okay, once you have a setup with you, you can simply open the Intellij IDE. It will take some time to open. Let's wait. Okay, that's your Intellij IDE, and now let's import the project. So I will click on import. Now once you got this screen, you have to open the project. I will click on open, and I will go to the path where we have that project. So it's in downloads, and that's your project. Click on OK. Okay, so it's opening our project. It may take some time on your machine. Okay, so you can see it is scanning all the projects, all the files, and if I open this, see, it may take some time based on your internet speed. It's just that I have done the same project just before the video, so it was fast. So if I go expand this, you can see we have Kotlin resources, we have Java, we have resources, and that's a difference, right? Because when you use Spring with Java, you get Java package there, and that's something new. We got Kotlin, right? See, the architecture remains same, the Spring architecture Spring project. And now if you go down to your project and if you open this Spring Kotlin demo, you can see this is a code. Okay, so I've increased the font size. Now it should be visible. And that's your first Spring Kotlin project, right? And you can see we got, the same thing. We got a class here which says Spring Boot application. And the important thing is we don't write function inside a class, right? Because that's, I mean, if you want to make it main, ultimately when you compile this, you will get a class behind the scene, right? In fact, we have seen that in the Kotlin series. But as of now, what's important is this is your first Spring Kotlin project. We have to first verify, is it really working? So you can just go there and you can search for, let's print something. Okay, so to print something in Kotlin, you don't have to say system.out.println. You can simply say println. And that's why Kotlin is preferred language. Let's print hello world just to see if it is working. And mind you, there is no semicolon here as well. Let's click on save, and it's time to run this project just to verify. I will click on run Spring demo. It may take some time initially when you're running it for the first time. And you can see we got Spring application just before you're starting, you got hello world. Now, why you got hello world before starting the Spring project? Because that's what we have done. So before an application, I'm saying print. Okay, now if you're not familiar with the syntax, I would recommend you to watch the Kotlin series first, because we're not here to learn Kotlin. We are here to understand how can we use Spring and Kotlin together. Okay, so this makes sense, right? We got hello world and this is working. But now I want to achieve the first thing which we do in Spring, right? Which is, let's create a simple project, simple web project. So basically what I want to do is when I go to this URL, which is localhost:8080, and you can see as of now it says, not found. It's because we have not created any page to get this, right? So to call the home page. So let's do that here. So what I will do is I will open this Intellij IDE and let me create a simple controller. That's what we do, right? We create a controller. So let's create a controller, and this time we have a choice. We can go for Java class or you can go for Kotlin class. Both will do. But since we want to learn Kotlin, or we want to use Kotlin here, let's do that. Let's select Kotlin file, and then I want to mention this as my home controller. I will click on OK, and you can see we got a home controller, simple home controller. Now there are certain annotations we have to use, right? Of course, this is a Kotlin file, and can we use Java annotations? And the answer is yes. And that's what's make Kotlin beautiful, because you can use all the features of Kotlin plus Java features. So let's use @REST controller, because I just want to fetch something, some text, and then here I want to map it with something. So I'm not basically creating a web page. I'm going for some data from the server so that we'll know it is working. So let's create a method or a function. So now we don't have to say public void something. We have to use a keyword which is fun. And then you have to mention the function name. It's that simple. Let's say function home itself. And then, okay, this is my function. But then when this will be called, and when it is called, what you have to return? I want to return simple text, and that's why we have to mention the return type, which is string. That's how we specify the return type here. And then what else? We have to say return, right? So I have to say return. I want to return welcome user. That's it, nothing much. And again, no semicolon. Now, even if you give semicolon, there's no error, as you can see, but not needed. Because behind the scene, Kotlin compiler will do it for you. What else we need here? We have to specify the request mapping, right? I will say request mapping because when this will be called. So request mapping, and then here, we have to mention / The moment you have a request for home, you will call this welcome user. That's it. That's the thing you have to do. Nothing much. Let's run this project. What do you think? Will it work? Let's try. So I will just click on rerun, and then hopefully this will work. So it is restarting the application. There's no error, as you can see. Let's go back to the browser and let's say refresh. It worked, right? It is so simple to use Kotlin with this project, right? We have created the Spring MVC project in Kotlin. It's just that instead of using Java syntax, we have to use Kotlin syntax. And the amazing thing is you can use all the amazing concepts in Kotlin here. Now you'll be saying, what are the benefits? For that, you have to watch the Kotlin series because Kotlin is awesome. So you will find the link in the description area. We will do something more with this in the next video. Let me know your thoughts. Is it you really enjoy these videos in the comment section, because I'll be making one more video on Spring Kotlin to add some more text. Maybe we can also use theme leaf, which we have not used. We can create a simple web page and then we'll be using the model object. Right? That's how can we use that. And one more important thing, how can we use dependency injection here? So we'll see that in the next video, but you have to comment that in the comment section if you really want that. So that's it from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me in the comment section and do subscribe for further videos. Bye-bye.